Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of the Fastball Sports Network Wrestling Podcast. And let me tell you guys, we got a fun show. We got a fun show for multiple reasons. And number one is because we are joined by a new man, as you can see. I don't know if he's going to be to my right, to my left.
He's below you.
Or below me.
Okay, okay, we all got something different. This is
Pointing
good.
down. Dan, how are you today?
I am thrilled to be here. I always love talking wrestling, even if it's been 10 years.
All right. Well, that's perfect because it brings me into my first question. We have to do a little hazing here on the Fastball Sports Network, and we got to ask you, who is your favorite wrestler currently, right now?
How is this hazing?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we asked Anthony. We asked our resident blue check who ditched us tonight. We're not happy about it, but
He was too good to come on for the Backlash.
hopefully he'll be back for Extreme Rules, which I had to look up the next pay-per-view. It is Extreme Rules. But yes, our blue check will not be joining us tonight, but we are joined by Dan. And Dan, we want to know, who is your favorite wrestler?
Say current and all time, same answer. It's always going to be Jeff Hardy.
All right.
Easy
I
choice.
mean, like I can't argue with that. That's a great choice. And
Easy
favorite
choice.
Jeff Hardy.
Easy.
Favorite Jeff Hardy moment.
Armageddon, finally winning the world title.
All right. Is that good with you, Mark?
That was when CM Punk cashed in right after.
No, that was further down the road. When he won, it was a triple threat match. It was him, Triple H, and Edge.
Look at this guy.
No, dude, I know my history. I mean,
There we go.
there's a big gap, but I know my shit.
I thought it was his first world title when CM Punk cashed in on him.
I think it was his first WWE title. This one was the World Heavyweight title. I'm not sure if there's really a difference, but his first one, it was the triple threat match. It was like the long build-up, too. Like, he had, like, beef with Vicky Guerrero at some point in there.
How long did he hold it for? Like, was it like a decent run?
It wasn't that long, if I remember.
No,
correctly.
it was Armageddon to, I want to say, the Royal Rumble when Matt Hardy turned heel and
Okay,
not clean.
makes sense.
The headshot with the chair.
The chair shot, yeah.
It was really violent.
All right. So now that you've viewed Dan's credentials, hopefully you've accepted him among the Fastball Sports Network family here. And guys, we're gonna talk about Backlash, the greatest wrestling match ever. But before we get into Backlash, a few things we have to go over. Number one, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan put on an excellent match for the Intercontinental Championship tonight. What are the takeaways from that match? What can we expect going forward from our new champ, AJ Styles? Mark, I'll let you have the floor.
All right, so I haven't watched it yet, neither has Dan, but no, it's a big
that.
deal. We're excited. AJ's the champion. I thought there was going to be some screwy finish and we were going to get a rematch this Sunday at Backlash, but that's obviously not what happened. I think this is probably for the best because that match would have stole the show, and they're trying to really have Edge and Randy have a big moment in this show, so it's fine.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. The match that I saw on Friday night, SmackDown tonight, was excellent. Loved every second of it. It was classic AJ. It's classic DB, and they put on a classic. You know, there's really no other way to say it. So I love both of them. I love seeing them get in the ring together tonight. That was awesome.
It's probably the right call, not letting them compete on a night where there's another match called the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Our next order of business that we have to take care of is, we had speculated on our last show, Mark, but it's official now. The original Bro will be coming to SmackDown next Friday night. How are we feeling about Matt Riddle officially coming aboard? And I guess my real question is, where do you think he starts? Do you think he maybe steps up to AJ next week? I think that would be a lot of fun. Or do you think maybe he makes an impact with Braun Strowman, something like that? Where does he go? Who do you envision him in a program with?
I probably would have said Baron Corbin because it's just the default, like, throw him into the mid-card mix of that no one really cares. You know, I like him a lot. Not Corbin, Matt Riddle. But Corbin started a program with Otis, and that continued today, so that'll probably get a little more time. AJ would be really cool if he came out and called out AJ, but yeah, no, that works. AJ, sure.
What do you think, Dan?
I'm not going to pretend I know anything about this kid, but any way to start with AJ, he's going to put on a show. That's just the best way to have someone grow right off the jump. Put him with AJ, and you almost can't disappoint.
I feel like
All right.
Randy Orton is just staring into my soul right now. Every time I look up,
I see it from Edge. Edge wants to kill me.
Edge just looks like he wants to cry, but Randy's like looking into my soul, like I'm gonna murder you. It's
All right.
throwing me off.
As you guys can tell, the guys really want to start talking about Backlash. So I won't hold this back anymore. Some good notes there. So first, again, as we always do in every card prediction that we go off of, I'm using the CBS Sports. I think they do the best job of giving like a little wrap up of the match and telling you their predictions as well. So there's 2 matches that aren't confirmed that they think might happen. The first of those matches are Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black. Guys, we want to see Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black again, and pick a winner for me.
Do I want to see it? Like, sure, why not? I like both of them, but I don't think this is going to happen. I feel like Seth is probably either going to cut a promo or just take this pay-per-view off. I feel like they would have already like announced that if that was going to happen, unless they're waiting for the day of, which they do sometimes. But if it happens, I'll say Aleister Black gets one over.
Dan?
All right. I mean, if it happens, I don't know. I'm a Seth guy. I like Seth. So
I love Seth.
I know Aleister Black has had a lot more momentum lately. Like, I mean, he's feuding with Seth. Like, it's not like he's just some nobody. But maybe give it like a screwy finish or something with Seth's boys. His Goonies get involved and Seth pulls it out.
It's not a bad take. Now, Dan, do you know what's going on with Rey Mysterio, another one of your all-time favorites? Are you aware what's happening?
He was thrown off a building. I think he lost an eye.
Yeah, no,
it's been a bad luck situation for him.
Yeah, he was thrown off in the bank. The next day, he lost his eye. But the new thing is Seth's been like calling him out in promos and stuff, and he's calling out him and Dominic. He wants them both to come out. He wants to fight both of them, and I think next week on Raw they're both supposed to come out, so that should be kind of interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen on Twitter every night. There's like, oh, Seth is having his Rey Mysterio's retirement ceremony live on Raw, and I do not know what to make of that. I don't know when Rey's coming back because I saw him fall off a building, but
he landed on the second roof.
Right.
We saw him the week after. That's when he lost his eye. So, all right. I think I agree with Dan. I think that the Goonies of Seth Rollins will do everything that they can to help him get one over on Aleister Black, and Humberto Carrillo will not be enough assistance on the other end. If this match does happen, I'll take Seth Rollins for a win. And listen, I won't be upset if it happens. I won't be upset if it doesn't happen. That's where I'm at with it. The next one is an interesting one, and I know Mark is about to start sounding off. But it's the Street Profits, who are the Raw Tag Team Champions, defending against the Viking Raiders. Again, this is one that they're not sure is going to happen. Again, like Mark said, could be one that they announce that day. Might not happen at all. Mark, go ahead. Take your soapbox. Sound off. Tell me why I shouldn't care about this match.
I don't have a crazy negative thing to say, really. I mean, they did the basketball thing the first week, and it was really bad, like just really poorly done. And then I haven't seen really any of them. They did like the golf, they did the bowling, they did a bunch of other stuff, but I just didn't really care, so I didn't really like go back and watch them. They're both awesome tag teams, so like it's going to be a good match. They're kind of like friends though, which is like a weird spin on the whole thing. They become like friends throughout this whole thing. Give me the Street Profits to retain, maybe. We'll see.
Dan, do you even have an opinion on this one?
My prediction was wrong on the basketball game. Well, I mean, I guess they did win. The Street Profits did end up winning, even though they got showed up.
The Viking Raiders did show them up.
Yeah, like after the game, that's when they shocked the world to me.
Shocked the world.
I didn't think they could dunk.
They cannot dunk. I want to clarify that there was some.
Okay. I don't know. I saw them dunk.
There was a lot of cuts in there.
I saw him jump. I saw someone dunk a basketball. It looked like he dunked.
They've really gone to extremes during this pandemic to film things differently and cut things up in certain ways, and I do not believe he can dunk the basketball.
Whoever the video crew is, they are making their money. There's no question about it.
They're keeping busy for sure.
They are working hard.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Mark. I'll take the Street Profits to retain if this match happens. Again, if it does happen, I'll probably enjoy it. When it comes down to it, no matter how goofy the segments have gotten, these are two good tag teams, and they have all the capabilities in the world of putting on an enjoyable match. But if it doesn't happen, I won't be too upset either.
When you said I agree with you, Mark, I thought you were going to go on a rant about how he can't dunk, but
No.
Your wrestling take was better.
It looks like he dunked.
One thing I will say is that the segments have been somewhat enjoyable. Like they've been like I've laughed a little bit. I think after like week 2 or 3, I've just accepted them as part of the programming, and once that happened, I enjoyed them a little bit. So I won't completely make fun of them or whatever. But yeah, no, it's time to get into the real stuff, right? And we will start with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. Now, Quincy, I'm gonna let you have the floor on this one first, considering you just told us Jeff Hardy was your favorite wrestler. Tell us why Jeff Hardy's gonna win this match.
I feel like you can't dig into a guy's personal issues, have someone frame him, set him up, and say why you're such a degenerate, and then have that guy go on and beat you up and beat you down and beat you. So give me Jeff to just overcut him, and just put him down and be like, you know what? I'm still Jeff Hardy.
Mark?
Yeah. If they want, it makes a lot of sense that Jeff would win, but if they want to keep this going, if they want to drag this out, like making a multi-match feud, they could do that. I'm going to take Jeff too. I think he kind of has to win this one, but I hope it kind of leads to something, which I don't really care that much about Sheamus. So I hope like Jeff wins here, and then he goes on to either feud with AJ or does something else of note.
I can get behind that. Jeff and AJ is tons of fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think I agree. We'll make it unanimous here. I'll take Jeff Hardy for this one. I don't think there's going to be any screwy finishes. I think we're going to see a twist of fate and a swanton bomb, and that's it. Hopefully that's it with Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. But if Sheamus does get one over, we know Jeff Hardy's going to win this in the long run. Like Dan said, there's no way they can set him up like this and have him lose this feud. Like, it just can't happen.
Yeah, that's not happening.
All right, we will get into our next matchup, which is one that I'm excited for. I might be alone, I'm not sure, but that's the United States Championship match. Apollo Crews, the current United States champion, versus the former United States champion, Andrade, in the rematch. Everyone's been waiting to see? I don't know, but I'm excited nonetheless. Mark, go ahead. What you got for me?
I'm going to take Apollo to retain. He just won the title. Doesn't make sense that he would drop it so quickly. In terms of excitement, not crazy excited about this. When I feel like I know the outcome of the match, no questions asked, I don't get excited for it. That's just me. But yeah, I'm going to take Apollo to retain.
Dan, what you got for us?
I'm going to have to go with the same thing. I think someone just gets the belt. It just wouldn't make too much sense to instantly take it off him. It's cool to see Apollo actually win something. I remember when he first came up, seeing him being like this super athletic. He's ripped. He's flying everywhere. And just nothing ever came of it. So it's nice to see him finally get a belt. So I hope he holds on to it for a little while.
Yeah, me and Mark were talking about the last show that we did. We were really excited to see Apollo get this belt, and I'm going to keep it unanimous again. I think he sticks with it. I think he sticks with the championship. I think he comes out smiling, being that bubbly baby face that we've come to love on Monday Night Raw Monday with the United States Championship around his arm. The next match that we have on the tap is a very interesting one in the fact that I could really see all 3 or all 6 participants winning, and that is the Women's Tag Team Championship match. And that will be between the current champions, Bayley and Sasha Banks, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, and the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. So this one, to me, guys, is really, really interesting because you can make an argument that any one of these teams could win. I personally think that Sasha Banks and Bayley are going to retain. I think maybe a week is just too short of a reign. But if they decided to throw it on the Iconics or they decided to throw it back to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, I don't think I'd be disappointed either way. And I also think that this one has potential to be match of the night. And possibly overshadow the greatest
match of the night. Greatest match behind you.
Listen,
match of the
The
night.
first match I thought was really good, and I think that these are 6 competitors that really know what they're doing out there. They're all very comfortable with their personalities, and I think they can really play off each other really well. And especially given pay-per-view time, not just Raw time, I think that this could be a really good match. I think this could be a one where everyone's just kind of like, okay, well, Sasha and Bayley just got the belts. They're probably not going to drop them and maybe turn into something that surprisingly could happen. So
I don't think the Iconics are going to win this. That's kind of where I'm going to start. I could easily see Nikki and Alexa winning them back, or Sasha and Bayley retaining. I think I'm going to go with Nikki and Alexa winning them back. I know it is really soon. It's been a week, but I feel like this could start the inevitable split with Sasha and Bayley. Maybe Bayley gets Sasha in trouble or something and she gets rolled up for the win. Like some shady finish that continues their feud and keeps it going forward.
I want to agree with that. Like the way I see this going is like I wanted to say Alexa and Nikki and say this is what starts the feud of them splitting up and having their women's title feud. But also another part of me is thinking it's only been 1 week. They could have done this in a match where they were challenging for the titles instead of having them pick them up and then lose them that quickly. So I am going to go with Sasha and Bayley and say they hold them on until maybe like the next pay-per-view or at least a few more weeks. Then they'll really like kick that off.
Yeah, I think I agree with Dan there when he says that this could potentially – it might be a little bit early because I think that we want to see that match at SummerSlam. And with there still being a pay-per-view between SummerSlam and now, that could happen on a random Raw or SmackDown a few weeks down the line, or that could happen at Extreme Rules, which is the next pay-per-view.
I'm just not sure what happens with Alexa right now if she doesn't have those titles.
She's entertaining. They'll probably. I mean, like they'll
Oh,
probably.
she's great, but like she has to be doing something.
I mean, we'll see what happens on Sunday. I think that if she's not involved in this current feud with the tag team championships, she'll do her show. They'll find something until after Sasha and Bayley are done, and then she's probably. I mean, let's be honest. Like whenever Sasha and Bayley are done feuding over the women's title, which hasn't even happened yet, but we're just assuming it's going to happen. Alexa Bliss, it seems like the logical next. The logical runner-up. But you're right. Maybe they will give her the tag team championships back to give her something to do until they're ready for her there. But we'll move on from the women's tag team championship match, and we will head to the Raw women's championship, and that would be Asuka versus Nia Jax. Mark, go ahead. You start us off because I have something to say, but you start us off.
Are we sure that Charlotte's not in this match? We're like 100%.
As of right now, Charlotte has not been announced. We are recording this at Friday. It is currently 10:55 p.m. Eastern time. Charlotte has not.
When was the last time that she wasn't on a show, on any show? Crazy. This is really obviously Asuka. There's really no point. I hate Nia. They shouldn't be doing this match. It's a waste of time. I think I covered everything. It's just like such like a filler, like no one cares feud where obviously they had to do something when Becky gave her the belt, and they're like, we'll just do Nia for a month or two until she either does something real with Charlotte or Shayna or a legitimate contender.
Dan, you got anything for us here?
I think Mark covered everything. Like I don't think I don't think Nia has any business winning a championship. Asuka just got it. Yeah, I feel like I could just repeat exactly what Mark said, but
yeah,
there's no need.
Yeah, you'll get no argument from me here. I mean, to your point of, I mean, they have to make a match, Mark, so we can't call it pointless. Like, if she doesn't defend until, like, the day someone's going to challenge her to lose it, like, she has to defend it. So I wouldn't call this match completely useless, but, yeah, I mean, maybe a screwy finish with the Kairi Sane coming in and setting up another match for Extreme Rules or something like that. I don't know.
We got a clean finish.
Like the SmackDown Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship has one very clear direction, and that is Asuka versus Charlotte at SummerSlam. If I had to predict that match now, I would predict it in a second. I don't think that they'll go any other way, possibly Shayna Baszler, but I don't know. I haven't seen her around. So you're right. Anybody facing Asuka right now is a placeholder to that match with Charlotte, where who knows what's going to happen. We will jump ahead now. Oh, this is we're going to be done quick here today. Our viewers are not used to that. The Universal Championship match, that would be Braun Strowman, the Universal Champion, in a handicap match versus The Miz and John Morrison. hey, ho, ho. What do you have to say, Dan?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember anyone winning the heavyweight championship in a handicap match.
I'm sure it's happened before, but they're few and far in between.
That sounds right. What was last? Was there a
You might
co-champion?
be right, but if
Yeah,
I
like
had
it
to
was.
guess in the history of the champ, like that's probably how Vince won one of his title reigns or something like that, right?
Vince
like,
wins him clean. He's the big dog.
Vince wins them clean. But yeah, regardless of, it sounds like you're taking Braun Strowman to me.
Easily.
Mark, what you got?
I didn't realize how predictable this card was until you started saying it to me, and now it's just, with the exception of the women's tag match, this is like a really easy predicted card. Like,
usually when they do something like this, we tend to finish the pay-per-view with one match where we're like, oh yeah, we didn't really expect that to happen. So maybe they'll throw it on us. The question is, which match will it be? Will it be this one? It won't. It won't. Spoiler alert. It's not this.
Braun's
This is
definitely winning.
This to me is the lock of the night. Braun Strowman winning this match.
That's not a hot take.
What did you say?
It's not a hot take. I like that.
Out of all of the
actually
matches that
cold.
are so predictable, like, listen, they apparently want to set up Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. If it happened, I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked.
Oscar's the lock of the night.
No, I think this is even more of a lock.
I mean I bet anything on both.
I feel like
because Nia can
we're arguing like here versus here. Like, they're both like a guarantee, but like which one is more? I think we can do this all night.
You're right. It feels like we're what's the word I'm looking for? We're getting a little too into it. They're both probably locked. But yeah, so I guess everyone's just gonna stick with Braun Strowman here.
I hope we see the Fiend after the match.
That would be cool.
That would be a fun twist.
I hope we see the big dog after the match, but I don't know how they would do that. So it's probably not gonna happen.
Who? Is that a wrestler?
Roman?
Roman. I forgot about him. I haven't seen much of him. Been a while since
he's been gone for a little while. So
it's been a while.
The last match before the main event, and that would be the WWE Championship match, which includes Drew McIntyre, the current champion, and Bobby Lashley, the challenger. Bobby Lashley will have MVP in his corner. Drew McIntyre might have Lana in his corner. Unclear. Mark, I'm gonna make you wait on this one because I know you're gonna want to say everything. This one is like kind of interesting in the fact that like they built Bobby Lashley up to actually for me to actually be like, okay, like I guess it could happen. Like I'm taking McIntyre. I don't realistically think, but there's all this talk now that they want to put the championship on Lashley before WrestleMania so they can do Lashley versus Brock at WrestleMania. He's in a championship match now, so I guess
they haven't built him up though. That's the thing. Like
they've done a pretty good job.
Repeatedly saying like, "Oh, you haven't got a title shot in 13 years." That's not building him up. That's just stating the obvious.
But they've put this chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he beat R-Truth up a couple of times.
He beat the Street Profits up a couple of times. He threw around the Viking Raider. Like he's definitely been put in a spotlight where like, oh, look at this man. He is dominating all competition. That isn't giving him a Claymore kick. I don't know. Again, I'm not taking him. I wouldn't take him. I'm taking Drew McIntyre. But like, there are all these rumors now that Vince wants to put the belt on Lashley before he faces Brock to make it seem like legitimate. Because listen, if you don't think he's legitimate enough to face and beat Drew McIntyre, then he's definitely not legitimate enough to step into the ring with Brock Lesnar for 2 minutes. Dan, you got anything to say on that one? I feel like it was just me and Mark Shaw.
No, you're good. I'm in a similar boat as you. I feel like eventually Lashley, like they're putting him in this picture. I don't think they're gonna, after bringing him back after so long, put him in a world title picture, lose, then drop him right back down. I do think it's too soon to take it off McIntyre, especially with the build he had, taking out Lesnar at the Rumble, beating Lesnar. I don't think he's going to drop it the very first chance he gets. So I'm going to go with McIntyre, but I do agree with you. I feel Lashley will eventually be the one who puts an end to his reign.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy part about wrestling, right? We don't know what's going to be like during the Royal Rumble. We don't know who's going to get hurt. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to run with. But, gentlemen, I know you've been waiting the whole entire time we've been doing this podcast to discuss the greatest wrestling match ever. Do I need to repeat it again? That would be the greatest wrestling match ever. We're going to see it on Sunday night. So my first question, before we do predictions, I just want a yes or no answer. Does this have a legitimate chance not to be the greatest wrestling match of all time, but to be a very good wrestling match, one that we look back on and say, you know what, we made fun of the build-up, but they actually delivered. That was a really, really good match.
I mean, I hope it's good. It's already pre-recorded. They had as many chances as they wanted to make it good, so there's really no excuse if it is bad. But I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy. I don't think it's gonna like blow us away. I don't think anything crazy special.
I feel like at this point it can't disappoint because everyone expects nothing with this
It's
kind
like a
of build.
meme. It's like a joke.
Yeah, I mean,
Like even to Randy, it feels like.
It started when, who was it? Who was standing in the ring? It wasn't Caleb Bradley.
It was Charlie.
It was Charlie Caruso
Right.
standing in the ring, and Randy goes, "Are you going to accept the match or not?" And then the camera starts fading back, and Charlie just goes, "It might just be the greatest wrestling match ever."
If this does happen, if this match does happen,
that was right.
this could
Yeah,
be
I feel bad that they
greatest
made her
wrestling
say
match
that.
ever.
She didn't deserve that.
I feel bad that they made her say that, but, you know, she delivered. She did a great job. I don't know what to think about this match. I do know that these are two of the greatest wrestlers to ever wrestle in the WWE. They might be on the wrong side of, I don't know, what's you know, in sports you say the wrong side of 30. What,
35?
they on the wrong side of 35? Yeah, they might be on the wrong side of 38.
The wrong side of whatever that age is for wrestlers.
But we know Randy can deliver. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad with my point. We know Randy can deliver. Okay. We've seen it time after time, year after year after year. We're pretty sure Edge can still do it. We saw it time after time, year after year, but he went away for a very long time. Their match at WrestleMania, long, was decent. I'm hoping that when we are through about halfway, they said it was long. I'm hoping that when we're about through halfway to this match, I'm drawn in. I want to see the end of it. I want to see who's going to win the greatest wrestling match of all time. That's my hope. I'm not expecting it to be the greatest wrestling match of all time. How could you expect any match? I don't think I've ever gone into any match being like, oh, that's going to be the one. That's going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. Like, that's a tremendous amount of pressure. I think we all, if we were to ask all of us and 100 other people what you think the greatest wrestling match ever is, there would probably be like at least 25 or 30 different answers because it's just the way people perceive things. Some people like great wrestling. Some people like big spots. I expect this match to have a bunch of big spots, but that might not be for somebody. In fact, I could already see the internet berating this match for having somebody go through a table in what's supposed to be like a wrestling match, or somebody going through an announce table. I don't know. That's just me. That's just what I could see happening. What do you guys think?
Do you think it's gonna be more than 20 minutes?
I think it has to. I think it has to kind of be like
I would think
25
it's
to
going to
30
get some
minutes.
time.
I think that's a mistake. I think if it was like a 15-minute, like really good match, I think that would go a long way. I think the longer it is, the more dragged out it's going to be. To me, it won't add intrigue. It's going to create boredom in the fact that these two older guys are having the greatest wrestling match ever. Just the way that they wrestle, like their style, I don't think it does well in a long match. They're both like similar wrestlers in the way that like technicians, the way they go about their stuff. I don't think it's going to be more fun the longer it is.
Dan,
I feel like for them, I mean, again, I'm not exactly expecting like a wrestling clinic between these two. Obviously, they've been doing it for so long. They're both, no doubt, Hall of Famers. But, and I feel like they could end up being above what's expected of them, since, like we said, everyone's almost like downplaying this, like it's going to be terrible with the tagline like the greatest wrestling match ever. And I feel like both of them, like, even if not necessarily just like the pure wrestling, they both always put on such a good performance. It was just like their like showing the emotion in their matches.
So you think they're going to surprise some people?
I think the expectations cannot be lower. But like these are still two really, really great wrestlers. So it's like they know what they're doing. They're not like a couple of nobody. It's not like they're going with the Street Profits and the Vikings, the greatest wrestling match ever, and then we're expecting them to blow the roof off the place. But this is Edge and Randy Orton. They know a thing or two.
I think it's sad that this match has become people expecting Goldberg versus The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia. Like, because that's when the internet talks about this match, that's literally what it sounds like they're expecting. Like they're literally like expecting them to drop each other on their heads and both maybe be paralyzed by the end of it. Like we know like that we're not going to get it. Like whatever this match is, they've probably planned almost the whole thing out. They've had plenty of time to prepare for it. This is going to be a good match. I'm expecting a good match. And I don't think like everybody else, I have expectations for the greatest wrestling match ever. So this is going to be a good match. The question is, how good can they make it? Again, it might just be good. We might look back at it and we're like, yeah, that was okay. That was pretty good. Didn't deliver on the greatest wrestling match of all time, but that was pretty good.
In terms of the winner, to me, it feels really obvious that Randy takes this one, and the third blow-off is at SummerSlam. Maybe Edge needs to go away for a little bit, think about the loss. He get all this pressure, all this hype, and he didn't deliver. Maybe he has to step away. He comes back, challenges Randy to the last match at SummerSlam. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I'd agree. I can't see any way where this just ends with Edge winning 2 matches and that's the end of it. So I am also taking Randy. I think he wins it. Then eventually this leads to, like you said, SummerSlam coming up.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
we'll see how that I'm not making any predictions for round 3 yet, but I feel like this one has to be Randy.
Mark, you'll make a prediction for round 3.
It's
gonna be. Edge
is gonna win. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll save that for another show.
Yeah, we will save that for another show. Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, Randy's gonna win. He absolutely should. This shouldn't be a 2-0. This should be at least a 2-1 series. Give him a little rub. What I'd love to see is Randy break out that punt. Really go to that place. Put Edge away. Let's tell a story. Let's tell a story. And I think that's what that Quincy said. That's a strength of both of these men. Let's tell a story. Let's see him try and actually put Edge away because he's so concerned about his health and his well-being. Him being here. Let's see him.
That'd be great. I would love that.
Yeah. With that being said, that pretty much does us in for Backlash. Pretty quick show here today from what we're used to, but hey, listen, I don't really know what to expect from this card, but I do have one more question for you guys. Because we're talking about the greatest wrestling match of all time, what is your match of the night? What's going to be match of the night? What's going to come back? What are we going to come out and say, like, okay, that was the one. That was really good.
You go first, Dan. I'll think about it.
Go ahead, Dan. You're first.
When's my time to think about it?
I
feel like you could be on something earlier, Frank, about the women's tag match, just because.
What else?
Again, you have three tag teams in there. You have room you can get creative with that. There's a lot you can do. It's probably the least predictable match of the night. So it'd be the easiest to just become invested, be on the edge of your seat, actually wondering what's going to happen instead of like what it felt like almost every other match where you're like, all right, this guy's going to win. It doesn't make sense for the other guy to win.
Yeah.
Because it almost feels like you could see any of the 3 teams. You could see a logic behind any of them winning. So that one's going to be my pick too.
I'll say Drew and Bobby. Hopefully that's a fun one. I'm pretty sure McIntyre's going to win, but hopefully it's exciting. Maybe Lana and MVP's interference adds more instead of taking it away. I don't really know yet. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I'll take Drew and Bobby's match.
I think I really like that. I really like that pick, Mark. I was thinking to myself, 3 matches had a chance at this. The 2 you guys just picked and the one standing right behind me. And you know what? I'm going with the underdog. I'm taking Randy and Edge. I'm going to say maybe not greatest wrestling match of all time, but greatest wrestling match of the night. I'll take Edge and Randy. I think they're going to put on a show. I think look, Randy's been talking a lot of garbage on Twitter right now. So he's got to put up or shut up Sunday night. I'm kind of excited to see what the end result is. One thing about the WWE, you're always excited for something. You don't know what it is until you get there, but you're always excited for something. So, gentlemen, do we have anything else to say?
Like we covered everything.
hard.
We got a fairly predictable card, but no, I think we covered everything already.
That's so disappointing. I didn't realize how easy this was until we started doing it.
Until we sat down.
I feel like I feel like I should have had a little more struggle with this, and there was a lot of matches where I'm looking at it like, oh, that can really go only one way, right?
5 of 7 locks. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
No,
but that's okay because you know what? Locks usually give us one surprise. So
locks
I'm ready
are meant to be broken.
Locks are meant to be broken.
It feels like a super disappointment coming. He's like, oh, your shocker of the night is going to be like Andrade.
It might be.
It could be. All right, so I guess that's going to do it here for us on the Fastball Sports Network. I'd like to say that we'll be back before the Extreme Rules prediction, but I give no guarantees. We were really excited about basketball, but now Kyrie Irving's trying to ruin that. So, we'll see what happens there. NHL coming back soon. We're gonna have Dan on for that if Mark actually lets us do it. He'll be much more helpful than. No, I'm kidding. Not that he wasn't helpful tonight, but he really knows his hockey. So we're excited.
I think I did my best.
We're excited to pick his brain about that. If you guys enjoyed the podcast tonight, give it a like, maybe throw us a sub, and be sure to check out our other videos. You never know what the fastballs are going to come at you with next, because we don't even know what we're going to come at you with next. So,
strong finish.
Yeah. And that's that. Thanks for tuning in, guys.